tendrils sticking out of here, you can go ahead and do that. It adds a bit of flavour to your dungeon. I'm just going to put a Nordic vine on the floor right there, and a bit of vine wall as well. As you can see, that's not properly put on. Yeah, you can go through and add what you want, how you want, really. I mean, the world's your oyster, as they say. You know, just try not to go too crazy, because you also have to think that people's computers have to load this, and the only way it will load it a bit at a time is through optimization, which I will go through eventually once I've done everything else, because I do things in a set order. So I won't jump from one to the other. I'll go through the whole dungeon doing one thing, and I'll go through the whole dungeon doing the next thing. In my eyes, it's very sort of methodical and logical, and that's sort of how I work. I know it drives people up the wall sometimes, but it's how I roll. Ooh, come on, it's a bit sensitive. Right, there you go. Just bring it diagonally a bit. I know the lighting doesn't look too good, everything's sort of bright, but we'll go through that in the next tutorial. Once I'm done with this dungeon, I'll upload this dungeon. I would have fully cluttered, hopefully, and then yeah, and add it to this YouTube video when it eventually is done. And so you can download it, look for yourselves, maybe use it, or use a test dungeon I originally uploaded as a basis for your own, or just something to play about and to get used to the idea of dungeon creating. I mean, it's entirely up to you. You're just going to add some random pieces in here. Make that a little bit diagonal. Lower that a bit. The idea also is in new games, especially RPG games and shoot 'em ups, they're very linear, i.e. you'll start at one point and it will unconsciously guide you to where you need to go. It's sort of making games downhill in my view, but that's a story for a different time, making them too easy. I mean, you can make it a complete maze, you can make it so they don't know where they're going, or where they have to go. You could, and you can make it as interesting as you want, or you can go into real high detail with Clutter. And basically what Clutter also does, it helps sort of point in the right direction. So especially with torches in dungeons and specific locations, if you ever look hard enough, you always find there's a path, maybe not an obvious path, maybe it's your torch leading you there, or maybe odd bits of clutter, but they all generally point to the place where you need to go. That's sort of the whole point as well, apart from making it look a bit more attractive in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to add clutter to everything, make it more believable as a dungeon, and then in the next tutorial I'll go over lighting, FX, and perhaps water as well. But for now I'm just going through yeah, all you need for clutter is all in this long list. If you know what you want, if you know the name or know the object reference, like if you want a chair, just type in, obviously in the filter, chair, and it'll come up with chairs. Alternatively, if you want to use maybe if it's not in the clutter, maybe it's in I don't know, maybe it's in another list. If you type in what you want first, then press all, then the list will come down. So if I press all there, obviously you've got a lot more chairs. These ones are the little blue house, I think they're houses, little blue symbol things, are static. These ones with the actual chair are interacted. NPCs can interact with them. So it depends if you want interaction. They're more commonly used in dungeons that have human NPCs in, or inns, houses, and blah blah blah. But anyway, if you can check through everything. I mean, in this database, it's a huge amount of objects you can use, and you can just go through, be as creative as you want, and just take your time. Cluttering a dungeon, especially a big dungeon, is probably one of the it's not hard at all, but it takes some creative elements, but it also takes quite a lot of time. I'm working on a mod myself at the moment called Veneta de Manus, and I've just made a hallway cave entrance, which has taken me about 4 days to do, and it still needs work on. And then I'm going to start on this big dungeon from an old game I used to play in the 1990s, and that maze is, oh, it's not made, the dungeon will be very complicated, so that will take me at least 2 months, maybe. Obviously I've got real life things to do and whatnot, but yeah. So all I'm trying to say is, I know it's a bit long-winded, is don't rush the cluttering. Don't just place pieces here and there in random places. Try and get them to interact with each other. Like if you've got a barrel, for example, let's say, I'm just going to put barrel. Which barrel do I want? Mead barrel, is that the one? That's too big, although you could use that. Oh, these are a bit aha. Right, let's say we've got a barrel. Where did that let me just find So we've got a barrel here. Just gonna place 3 there. What you want to do, what you can do, entirely up to you, just adds a bit more depth to your dungeons. You can go ahead and integrate it, make it sort of interact with the environment you've got going here. I'm just placing it randomly at the moment, but if you're working away and you want your object to snap to the floor, all you have to do is press F and it should do. Sometimes if you press it too much, it'll go under the map, and that just gets a bit annoying. I'm just going to just have this one poking out the ground. I mean, even with the little bit of cluttering I've done just there, makes the room look better already. And as you can see, you come through this door, and already it's sort of directing you, because it's blocking you off on the left, and on the right it's curving round to this corridor, so it's sort of telling you to go in that direction, and that's ideally what you want to do in a linear-esque dungeon. So what I'm going to do, as I've said it probably about 10 times now, I'm going to go through, clutter this whole room, this whole dungeon, sorry, upload everything to YouTube and Skyrim Nexus Forum, and then I'll work on the next tutorial, which will be lighting, FX, and perhaps water, but as I said, I'll probably leave water for the tutorial after that. Anyway, thank you for watching. Sorry if it's been a bit long-winded, and I'll get to work cluttering this for you, so I'll see you soon. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe if you like the tutorials, and stick around. Cheers.